One of the most common challenges I hear from managers and business owners is how to motivate their employees to want to provide better customer service. In other words, how do you get employees to genuinely care about customers? In this video, I'll share 5 strategies on how to help employees have a more positive mindset about customer service. I'm Jeff Mowatt. Having delivered customer service training programs for over 30 years, I've observed that organizations that have cultures where employees feel motivated have 2 advantages. Their customer service is remarkably different to the point where price becomes less relevant, and their team members are more engaged. That means less staff turnover and less problems caused by staffing shortages. So let's look at 5 ways to motivate your employees to have a more positive mindset, and a mindset that's more focused on customer service. Be sure to watch this right to the end, because the last tip is going to be about how to retain your star performers and make sure you don't lose them to your competitors. The first way to motivate employees to have a more positive mindset is educate towards empathy. It's easier to get your employees to provide better customer service when they can put themselves in the place of the customer. In other words, empathize with them. That's why one of the things that we do when we provide customer service training is I ask the employees to put themselves in the place of the customer and then describe the things that they expect when they are customers. And oftentimes it comes up with things like honesty, knowledge, so on. But what we want them to start doing is thinking like a customer. And from there, it's simply a matter of giving them the tools to communicate with customers in ways that sound more empathetic. So for example, when a customer asks us to do something, we could say, I'll have to check the files, which sounds like it's a bit of a chore. Or same scenario, customer asks us to do something and we can say, I'll be happy to check the files for you. We just change a few words around and we sound like we have a more positive mindset. And here's the little secret. You don't have to feel that enthusiastic or positive. We just need to change our language when interacting with customers to sound like we have a more positive mindset. So we educate towards empathy, put them in the place of the customer, and then give them more tools so that they sound like they understand the customer's circumstances. Quick courtesy reminder, to receive more of these types of videos, be sure to like and subscribe. The second way to motivate employees to have a more positive mindset is send grumps to your competitors. When a customer casually asks one of your team members, "How are you?" in conversation, I wonder how your employees respond to that. Is it with, "Oh, I'm okay," or "I'm fine," or, "Well, I'll be better when my break starts in 20 minutes," or maybe it's, "Well, yeah, I'm a little hungover today," or maybe it's, "I'm fine now, at least I made bail. Those tasers hurt." In all of those examples, the employees need to make a decision on whether they want to either A, stop burdening customers with their problems, or B, start working for the competition. That may sound harsh, but the last thing that today's harried customers want to hear are the soul-sucking lamentations of an employee who overshares. The bonus of sending toxic talkers to your competitors is that your remaining employees are going to appreciate the fact that the entire atmosphere is more positive. They're working in a more supportive, encouraging place. It's tough enough for employees to have a positive mindset, especially when occasionally they have to deal with difficult, upset, angry customers. We don't want our teams to be hurt from negativity from within. A third way to motivate your employees to have a more positive mindset, catch them being good, can be illustrated by a sign that I saw at a gym. I was invited to do a number of training programs in Halifax. And while I was there, I was working at the local YWCA, where across from the weight room, there was a childcare area. And in that childcare area was this huge computer-generated sign that said, "Catch them being good." Well, I guess the idea was that a lot of times, of course, with toddlers, the only time sometimes we may pay attention is when they're acting out. But what the sign was there to do was to remind those child care providers to pay attention when they're doing the right things, when they're acting and behaving themselves properly. Well, that being said, I believe that also can be applied to our workplace. Our role as a manager is not just giving employees feedback once or twice a year. It's more to catch them in the act at the time of doing a good job. The challenge then is to make sure that all of our team members learn from that positive behavior that the one employee demonstrated, which we're going to get to next. I hope you're finding this to be helpful. And if you like this video, I think you're going to love my tips. You'll find them for free at jeffsbusinesstips.com. Strategy number 4 for motivating employees to have a more positive mindset, particularly around customer service, is to stage what I call CAST meetings. CAST is a term I created. It stands for Customer Service Team Meetings. It's where you as a manager and your employees get together to talk about customer experience. CAST meetings can take as little as 90 minutes a month, and they can transform your customer service culture. Essentially, CAST meetings involve talking with your team members about your customer service mission and service standards. It's providing a coaching moment where you provide a little tip on how employees can provide better service by changing a few words around. So for example, rather than saying, what's your budget? Instead, is there a price range that you feel comfortable with? Change a few words around has quite a difference. And that's a coaching moment. CAST meetings also involve sharing customer feedback that you're receiving, evaluating that feedback, and then deciding as a team how you're going to adapt to that feedback so that you're still relevant for your customers' needs. And finally, CAST meetings involve sharing what I call service legends. And that's an example of one employee who's gone above and beyond in terms of providing exceptional service so that everyone learns from that. So if, for example, before last time in our last strategy, we talked about the importance of catching people in the act, of doing things approximately right. Well, we take those examples and then we disseminate those, we share them at a CAST meeting so that everyone learns, oh, okay, that's the behavior we're looking for. And it transforms the culture. I detail the entire CAST meeting process in a book that I wrote called Becoming a Service Icon in 90 Minutes a Month. Remember I said this last tip gives you the best chance of keeping your star performers around and keeping them having a positive mindset? Well, here it is. The 5th key to motivating employees to having a more positive mindset is turn your service superstars into owners. As the expression goes, owners care more, and it shows. So the strategy here is that when your employees have a personal financial investment in the organization, they're more committed to making sure that customers are satisfied and the organization prospers and everyone benefits. Kind of makes sense that at some point your frontline employees, particularly those star performers, are going to want to have a more secure financial future and make as much, hopefully, in the organization as some of the people who are above them. We want to groom, especially our star performers. There are all kinds of ways we can provide incentives. One of the more effective that I've seen is where when we offer employees some sort of a share ownership, that comes part and parcel with the employee committing to sign a non-competition agreement. Usually it's about 3 years. So the idea is that, yeah, we're going to give that employee an opportunity to make more money and own a piece of the company. But at the same time, they're committing that if they quit in the short term, they're not going to run to the competition. So the great thing is that the company gains a valuable employee, more loyalty in this staffing shortage marketplace. And our employees feel like, wow, this is my long-term future is here, and I want to make sure that the organization prospers. So it's a great way of having star performers have a more positive mindset for the long term with your company. I'd like to hear from you, and I'm going to ask you to comment in the section below. How does your company reward you financially for providing outstanding customer service? Does it A, pay commission, B, offer stock equity, C, provide financial bonuses? Or D, there's no financial rewards beyond your wages or your salary? So please mark A to D below in the comment section. I read every comment. I'd love to hear from you. The bottom line is motivating employees to have a more positive mindset where they care more about customer service isn't complicated. However, it does require training and commitment from managers. Now, some managers, I think, claim to themselves that they're too busy to do this sort of thing. But my question would be, in this hyper-competitive marketplace where service may be your only differentiator, what on earth is more important to do as a manager? Essentially, when you're motivating your employees, they're providing better service, the kind of service that gets noticed, gets talked about, and gets rewarded. Well, I hope you found that to be helpful. And if you like this video, I think you're going to love my tips. You'll find them for free at jeffsbusinesstips.com. See you next time.